Alright, so WWE Crown Jewel 2023. Let's go over the little bit of a review that we got. So I got a little late jumping to start, so I missed the first couple matches. First match was Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough. Just a typical Raw match. Same match, actually, that they had a few months back. Kind of weird how they just go in full circle, even though people like to say that, they're creatively different now with Triple H under the regime. But honestly, it's the same kind of shit, just repeated over and over again. Probably because it's the fall time. And, they don't want to really do their best kind of show when they got football every week going against them. But Sami Zayn with the big win. Kind of expected. They want to kind of build him up. JD McDonough's kind of the, jobber of his group. Which, at least he's getting some shine there by being affiliated with the Judgment Day. Leading into the next match, the start of the show, we had Seth Freakin Rollins defending his World Heavyweight title against Drew McIntyre. Honestly, everybody really wants to see Drew win it, but he's not going to win it at all. He has to re-sign his contract, so the chances of him ever winning the belt again are slim to none, unless he re-signs, of course. They do kind of tease the Judgment Day involvement. If you looked at the package of him talking about how he had to win the WWE title in front of nobody during the pandemic. They had the purple lights in the background. So there's obviously something coming down the line with him going to the dark side, turning bad. Seth Rollins with the win. I'm kind of getting tired of Seth Rollins with the championship. I know Roman's held the title for as long as he has, but they really need to freshen things up, have somebody else be the champ. It's kind of the same routine with Seth. Going into the next match, got to try to think it through here. That's just kind of how it was at the time. So we had the Women's World Heavyweight title match. Rhea Ripley.
Turn left to stay on New York 33 East.
Rhea Ripley, she's looking good with the championship right now. She's really beating everybody that they put in front of her. It seems like they're going to be leading towards like a Becky Lynch or Jade Cargill kind of thing down the line. Not sure, but she's really honestly carrying the division. She won the match with the Riptide, retained the title. Made it look easy as usual. Overall, not a bad match. The next match that they had going down the line was John Cena versus Solo Sikoa. And while this was an interesting setup to the match, I honestly kind of got some Umaga, John Cena vibes from 2007, I believe, the time when they had their match. But I had a feeling that Solo was going to go over. They got to build him up. He's the enforcer of the group. Sure enough, what exactly happened? Solo ended up winning. He actually started dominating John Cena at the end. Hit him with what felt like 10,000 spikes to the neck, which I kind of thought was overkill. I know they did the same kind of thing with Brock Lesnar with the German suplex, but at the same time, that was the German suplex. It wasn't the F5 getting hit on repeat every single time. But it's a good way to build up Solo. What happens next with him, not entirely sure. But we'll see down the line. They had the Women's WWE Championship match, which honestly was just eh. I'm not really sure why they keep pushing Io. She's not really the attention grabber like everyone seems to try to make her out to be. Even Bianca, she just came back, so it didn't make sense for her to win. And then they brought back Kairi Sane. They could have probably done a better job explaining what was going on. It took them until the very end of the segment for Michael Cole to be like, well, what is this going to mean? Bayley was the last one to send her packing out of WWE. Maybe you could have mentioned that or, had her interact a little bit more by looking at Bayley. So I guess we'll see what happens from there. They had Damian Priest, Mr. Money in the Bank versus Cody Rhodes. Honestly, I know everybody's a big Cody fan, but it's getting old with him. He's not as good as everybody makes him out to be, and it's funny that everybody switched characters with him. And in AEW, he was the most hated guy. He was the John Cena-esque guy in AEW. He comes to WWE, and everybody's acting like he's such a big deal because he's got big entrance coming in and all that. And I don't really see the big deal with him. I think he's overrated. And honestly, I know everybody thinks he's going to be the one to beat Roman, but honestly, I don't think he is. If he happens to do it, that's great, so we can finally get, a new storyline going, but I just don't see Roman being the one to beat him, or to get beat by him. If anything, they should really just, find a different route, do something different. I mean, they have all these guys that were like way more popular. LA Knight, top merchandise seller for 4 months in a row. Just makes more sense to go that route. Or even The Rock, have him come back for this big event. So then we got the main event. Oh, let me backtrack for a second. They had Damian Priest try to cash in. It's obvious what's going to happen. They're going to replace Drew with Damian in Judgment Day. The writing's on the wall. You can see it coming a mile away. They'll probably have something where Damian Priest wins it somehow from Seth, some weird cash-in, and then Drew McIntyre just beats the piss out of him, and the Judgment Day aligns with him, and then he becomes like the new member for the Judgment Day, if not the new leader, since they don't have a leader per se. Then we get to the big matches here. We got Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio. Honestly, it was a lot of weird communication between both guys, but it was cool that Logan Paul did save Rey Mysterio. While he is super athletic, the fact that he was able to adjust in that very moment and catch Rey when he did a botched moonsault attempt off the rope, that was pretty cool. Now with him being the United States champion, I bet you with Logan Paul holding that belt, that title itself will be the most talked about one in WWE. Why? Because that guy has a following bigger than WWE. And with his show impulsive and everything, that the buzz that he's creating with his energy drink and everything that he does, it honestly made sense for him to get the title. How long will he hold it? Not entirely sure. Who will be the guy to beat him? That remains to be seen. But honestly, it's kind of a neat thing to see. He definitely deserves it. He puts in his work. Now the main event that we had was Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, versus the Megastar, the GOAT, L.A. Knight. Yeah! I felt like this was the moment that, they could have split the titles. LA Knight, the entire build-up has been talking about the WWE Championship, not the Undisputed Universal WWE Championship. If anything, it was now the time to split those titles back up, let Roman hang on to the Universal since that's the one they want to break records with, and let LA Knight get his big shine and take the other belt. Did that happen? No. They did the same routine as usual. Roman Reigns starts losing, everybody tries to interfere to help him out. It's kind of getting repetitive and annoying now. They could at least do something. I thought for sure we would have got a dusty finish. Somehow LA Knight would have won, and then boom, they would have had to restart the match or whatever. It would have been null and void to at least give the crowd a big pop so that, LA Knight gets that moment. They can really see what the crowd would react like if he won, and then down the line they can give him the belt. Obviously that didn't happen. They just had him, get speared, he kicked out, get guillotined 3 times, get out, then everybody interferes, beats up Jimmy Uso, beats up Roman Reigns, gets speared through the barricade, then gets speared in the ring, beat. Where does LA Knight go from here? Not sure, but at least they did try to protect him and elevate him. If anything, they should, like I said, they should have had him, win the WWE Championship from Roman, and let Roman keep the Universal one. Overall, it was not a great pay-per-view. I know I missed the segment with The Miz. I guess it was nice to see after he was being bullied. Don't forget, this was the same program that had Don't Be a Bully, Be a Star, as Gunther bullied The Miz. But they had the Miz segment with Grayson Waller, who's the new Miz, quite honestly. And then Miz, beating him, with the skull-crushing finale to give the crowd a happy pop. Overall, though, like I said, the pay-per-view was Could have been better, could have been worse. The Logan Paul win was like the big shocker, even though everyone saw it coming. LA Knight, more over than every guy in the company. Why they always tend to wait and not push the guys like they should and have them win is kind of frustrating. They do the same thing with everybody. Look at Sami Zayn. Now the guy's relegated to the pre-show match when he was the most over guy back in February. But that's just the way they go. And I know everybody loves to say Triple H, he really gets creative. He really, understands it better than Vince. Does he really, though? It's the same shit every week with the guy.
In a quarter mile.
Everybody always likes to act like he's he's so creative. He really gets everybody. He knows how to push everybody. Does he? Because it's the same stuff that Vince was doing. And everyone just wants to shine up the turd and pretend it's something new. But we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll have a shock factor on Raw or SmackDown. Probably not, though. So that was Crown Jewel. And now we're on to Survivor Series. On to the next.